And I'm a commission member.
Chris Bartek, I'm a commission member.
Dawn DeSorsi, staff.
Diane Pasnoff, I'm a guest, I guess.
Tom Morello, 4th District Alderman, Council Representative.
Shane Blazer, Mayor.
Jay Klingfors, staff.
Tom Eklund, Commission Member.
Lee Chow, Commission Member.
Dennis Pollock, City Alderman.
Thank you. So the first order of business is to approve the February 13th, 23 meeting minutes. Any questions on those? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Also move.
Motion by Rome, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Blazer. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First item, second item on the agenda then is to consider the request for a Little Free Library in a city park.
Well, thank you for your time today. I appreciate being invited. My name is Diane Pasnoff. I've been a lifelong resident here in Wisconsin Rapids. I work at Renaissance. I've worked there for over 25 years. And of course, it was really founded on literacy. And so we have a committee, and we got talking about placing a little library someplace here in Wisconsin Rapids. So reached out to Jake, and he said, come on in and talk to us a little bit about it. So we're seeking that location, a goal just to provide for anyone who visits our community. They can live in the community, they can come in and visit. It's a chartered library, so they can access through a website different locations. So if you have people coming into the community, they can use it there. Renaissance employees would, of course, staff. We'd be the volunteers that would come in, make sure that the library was in good repair, restock the books. We're currently working with Lincoln High School's Industrial Arts Group. They're actually building the library for us as we speak. They're making it out of weather-resistant materials, good glass, because we know like a plexiglass of some sort, because it's going to have to withstand our wonderful Wisconsin winters. So, let me see here. It's chartered. We'll collect books at Renaissance office for placement in the library, and of course, as telling Jake, I found on the site today, I can also get donations from different publishers and such like that. The whole idea is just to allow for literacy for all. Little library, just a little background, it's based in Minneapolis. They go on the motto of building community, inspiring readers, and expanding book access. They're right now in 120 countries. They have over 150,000 libraries and 30 million books that have been shared worldwide. So, any questions that I can answer for you?
Do we have any idea on the possible locations?
Yeah, we spoke down at Veterans Park. We have the flagpole down there, the flag boxes down there, right next to the Butlers, kind of in the central location of the park where I think 4 sidewalks almost kind of come together and you kind of cross right there. So I think that'd be a good location for everything.
And currently there is one at the Firefighters Memorial.
Yep.
Do we know of any other ones?
One at the zoo.
There's one at the chamber.
Here. Yep.
There's one at East, at the district office.
A couple different schools have them.
Yeah.
How?
Hitch Center for the Boys and Girls Club. And then there are some private residentials that have them. When I looked out on the map today, it was 8 total in the greater Wisconsin Rapids area.
That's on the west side, right? Is the Veterans Park, or is that
No,
east?
right.
Oh, yeah,
Lunch
that's
by
on the
the
east side.
Lunch
Yeah,
by
yeah,
the
yeah.
river. So it's just it's a very busy park.
Close. Still accessible.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be a good location.
Yeah. So I was telling Diane, we call the diggers and we install it for them. So they don't have to worry about calling diggers and all that stuff. So we'll do the installation for them.
All right, I entertain a motion then to install a Little Free Library, compliments of Renaissance Learning, at Veterans Park as discussed.
To make a motion that we entertain the idea.
All right, is there a second? Second from Lee. So any further discussion? We have a motion and a second to approve the request from Renaissance to install a Little Free Library at Veterans Park. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much.
We'll be in touch.
We'll be in touch.
Yes.
Pretty awesome. Have a good night.
Nice to
Have a
meet
good
all
night.
of you.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Enjoy the
And you're a
weather.
fun group. I would come back.
Our group's outstanding, yeah.
Future commission member. Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the update on the dog park. Is that Jake?
Yeah, so actually tomorrow night, Finance is bringing the 3 bids, I believe, to get approved on, so it'll be American Fencing. Everything's all said and done. They'll be installing the 2 different location dog parks sometime before May 19th for installation of the fence. Street construction crew was able to put, last week I believe, gravel on top of the parking lot, so now we're just waiting for the hot mix plant to open up. I think Paul Baller said hopefully at the end of this month for pavement. Shredder John is coming back hopefully Wednesday to kind of clean up some more areas. The areas that had the large brush piles still had just long branches and things for him to grind up, and then we'll move on with the pulverizing of the big area and then grass seeding and go from there. So everything's going along really well.
What's the target date for opening?
I'm targeting sometime in September. So
Just because we want to make sure all the grass is
established.
That'll be a big mud hole anyways.
Yeah, dogs will have fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you send out that new recent drone footage to the commissioner?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
There's some new drone footage that the community meeting put
Community
together.
is.
I can forward it right now.
Okay.
They've taken, I think, 3 videos. I think the beginning, another one kind of in mid to late winter, and then this one. So
Yeah,
we're
let's
just
put
kind
them all together.
Yeah, we'll just put them all together when it's completed. So
Certainly looks different when you drive by.
yeah,
You can tell stuff's been cleared up.
pretty open.
It's a nice spot.
Yep.
I think the fence bid came in at
Way lower than what we expected.
Yeah, like
49,000
something.
I think we expected to be around 70.
And you said American was a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, by quite a bit.
Yeah, they put up a lot of fence in the city and
Yeah.
surrounding area.
They do.
They do.
Yep.
So yeah, that was a pleasant surprise.
Yep.
Anything else in the dog park? Awesome. Then we have another update on the prairie dog exhibit.
Yep. Yep. So last week we were able to actually dig everything out. So everything is pretty much dug on the level that we want it to be at. I actually met the contractor today on site who's doing all the concrete work. He's going to be putting in footers hopefully by Thursday this week. The glass bids closed April 6th. KNW was the only bidder on that, which we weren't too surprised because there's not too many companies around here that do that type of work. And I believe that came in at $33,000. We're gonna have to make some modifications on it because we couldn't make the exhibit as big as we wanted to, so the cost is probably gonna be lower than that price.
We couldn't because of what, the geography or?
Yeah.
Where are you
Water-
putting
the
it?
water table. It's all the way in the back of the zoo, in between the camel pen and the fox pen. There used to be a meditation garden back there that just, it was hard to keep up, maintain with all the different plants, and which we were able to save most of them, and we can use it for a landscape area around the exhibit. So.
Is there any rules about Z-dogs and prairie dogs or no? We gotta do our research
Too hard to
yet.
tell. It's too
Yes.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah, too early to tell. But no, we're excited about this. We'll be getting 8 of them. Well, whenever we finish it. So we're excited about this new adventure and bringing something new to the zoo. So
With the smaller sizes, that changed like how many it can hold?
no, it changed our depth that we wanted to go, but we hit groundwater too soon. So we kind of. The original plan was it was pretty much all going to be flat.
Yeah.
This is going to be a little more elevated now, so it might be easier for kids and adults to actually see these guys anyway. So I think in the long run it's going to work out better. So and
Okay.
we're still waiting for the crawl tunnel to get delivered. So I think it was being manufactured in Florida.
When do we think that's gonna be open?
I don't know. I can reach out to him tomorrow. Oh, the
The
exhibit.
exhibit itself.
My guess would be when we open.
Oh, you think, really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep, I'm hoping. So it all depends on how long it takes KNW to get the material for the class, so. We're excited.
Awesome. Any other prairie dog exhibit questions? And we are on the third to last item, I guess, update on the legacy grant application.
Yep. So we've had multiple meetings with school district on this, kind of, I don't know, I'm really excited about this project because I think this is gonna be, it's gonna rejuvenate the west side, especially Mead Park. I'd love to see this park itself kind of just turn on kind of like the west side recreation area. We're looking at adding 6 pickleball courts, a playground structure, and then a really nice shaded picnic area there as well. That's one thing we always get during the summer months is people wanting to like reserve picnic tables there for birthday parties. And now we're actually looking at revamping the old concession stand at the baseball field so people can open it. They use it like with like sandlots, so there'll be like fridges in there, and then they can use like the whole underneath it, the pavilion for picnic tables, like I said, for birthday parties, because it's nonstop phone calls about if they can actually rent out like a picnic area at the Mead Splash Pad. So I think we are presenting our half, I think May 17th.
May 17th.
May 17th.
Yeah.
We got the numbers together. At this time, I was also working with the city of Merrill on their project that they're building pickleball courts. So I had like a day after up-to-date prices on 6 pickleball courts, and so like I said, I'm excited about this, and also kind of joining forces with the school district on this.
Yeah, so if the commission remembers, we had an update, I think it was our last meeting, which it wasn't last month, it was the month before, that there was a legacy grant submitted by Jake on behalf of the Park and Rec Department, and the school district had three independent submissions as well that dealt with play structures or updated facilities in terms of things for kids to do outdoors. One of those was at Mead Elementary as well, and I think we kind of had discussed that briefly. Well, in going back at it, I heard back from Mike Bovee, who said that the district's 3 requests, why don't you put something together more comprehensive and resubmit? And I asked, well, what about collaboration with the city at the Mead property, because that makes a lot of sense, and they typically look for collaboration among community partners. And so he said, yeah, that would be great. So what we have in our proposal, which was submitted already, we have to work through a couple of things for fine tuning that I'll get to them this week, but is a comprehensive request that covers pretty much every elementary building we have, plus Rams, which, as everybody probably knows if you're from town, we've got very little or nothing at Rams. We have plans to update that in terms of district stuff too. But point being is that specifically on the Mead property, what we've incorporated is a collaborative request that has our options and then the city options. Pretty straightforward in terms of if this does get the green light from the Legacy Foundation, in terms of if it's on city property, it's our problem, the district's problem. If it's on, if it's on city property, it's the city's problem, or Park and Rec. If it's on the district's property, it's the district's problem. And so we have additional equipment and so forth that if the plan is approved, it would be cordoned off during the school day, so that wouldn't be accessible to the general public, and then when school's over and during the summer, it'd be open. So you not only have access to the splash pad and some of the stuff that the city's putting there, but a broader, more comprehensive and larger playground structure too, to really make it an area that people want to come to. Other things like basketball courts and things along those lines that would really give the west side an update, and frankly, a lot of west side activity for kids anyway already centers around Mead. And for those that have been over there, you realize that our playground structures there are in poor repair, and 30 plus years old, and are in need of replacement. So not just playground, multifaceted kind of approach, also inclusive, so that individuals in wheelchairs or with limited mobility would have an ability to play. And with the recent communication I had with Mike, he indicated that we should prioritize. And so what I want the commission to know too is that the priority for us will be Mead area, the west side being probably the #1 priority of our list. We also have a proposal at Pitch, of which the district has already committed $260,000 to playground renovations over there. So I would be surprised if something doesn't happen in that regard, if we do get some legacy commitment. And then a proposal out at Grant, which would incorporate, Kellner and that area. And then Mead, Grant, and Rams. So those are the 4 areas that we would look at focusing on. The other interesting aspect of Rams, or the west side that's important, I think, is that the commission probably realizes we have a number of people that utilize what limited stuff is there at Rams: tennis courts, the track for walking or jogging, even just the kind of nature trails. They're not really, marked nature trails, but the trails that are all through all this district property. So to have some things over there for, let's say, older kids, 6th graders, 4th, 5th, 6th, and even 7th and 8th graders to do comprehensively in the proposal is things like another disc golf course, just a 9-hole, pretty nice, easy layout that the FIAD could use, because of course it would be open to the community. Basketball, 4-square, playground-ish sort of structure, more of a fitness challenge-y kind of a vibe. But anyway, if this all goes through, and the priority areas are what are met, what I wanted the commission to know is that we're going to advocate, the district's going to advocate for Mead being primary, and followed by the ones that I just mentioned. There's also stuff that we have included with basically every one of our elementary schools, so Howe and Grove would be included in that too, which of course are within the city limits. And there's a big project going on that Woodside already, so it'd be really cool if it happens. May 17th is when we present. Numbers-wise, we don't have a clue.
We don't know yet.
No. The total, when we put all together, all in, for the district's proposal is like 3.9 million. But that's 8 sites.
Oh, I was gonna say.
So the cool thing about this, and when we present, I'm going to highlight this on behalf of the district, is that it's completely flexible. So you only want to do, Legacy only wants to do one project, then fine, we're going to do Mead, and we're going to do this, this, and this. You see what I'm saying? You want to do 3 of 8, fine. You know what I mean? We can completely tailor the request to what the Legacy Foundation is looking for, and what they're able and willing to contribute. And so
You'd come right back at them for those that didn't make it anyway,
potentially.
the next year.
A lot of the time, though, they'll just look at you straight faced and say, no more of this nature. You know what I'm saying? And then you just
They've
say,
already
okay,
done
fine.
that, haven't they?
Yeah, but this is totally different. But if they contact and say, hey, you should submit a proposal as follows, then I'm absolutely gonna do that. You know what I mean? This isn't me jamming it down their throat, this is them inviting us to do this. And I think the Mead side of all has the most potential, because you can already exhibit that there's going to be district and city collaboration on that.
And they did splash pads already.
Correct.
4 years ago.
Yeah. And it's almost a no-brainer when you talk about where the city needs to update, and this is personal opinion now, but where the city needs to update, revamp, and incorporate some new things. The west side always comes to mind.
Absolutely.
When did they say their decision date is?
That I don't know. So we present on May 17th. Following that, I'm sure we'll know kind of what, I'm guessing by early June,
Yeah,
what we're talking. And that's the other piece too. So the commission is the Park and Rec part of me is beholden to the commission, and I'm beholden to the school board. So when we talk about financials and dollars and cents, we can't make any commitments. The commission only acts when they're meeting and making recommendations, just like the council or the school board. And I think the Legacy Foundation knows that. And clearly there'll be some kind of commitment, but we've already talked about some savings in terms of scale, and savings in terms of, we were gonna probably do this anyway, some paving and some renovations that would be, district dollars or city dollars in terms of a match, if that's what Legacy is looking for. So we gotta see what pans out. That's all I know right now, but I think the important part is that it's submitted, and Mead will be a priority for us, and Park and Rec, what we got.
If they agree to that, what's the timing of this piece to get it?
Well, we haven't engaged at all yet with any kind of engineers or construction administrators, so.
We just got numbers, pretty much, figures.
Correct.
We haven't
Yeah.
picked out like a certain playground company, or, so we don't know like
Is it even practical to think you can get it in this year?
this year.
I would think.
We could.
It's
could
it's
probably
plausible
start.
that you could get something together and have work begun by, say, October.
Yeah.
If life worked out, all the things, otherwise, probably, if you're being rational, probably next spring and summer, yeah. But if you push on it, and I've already applied for a grant too through a play structure company that will fund up to 50% of what you're putting in equipment-wise, and had a great conversation with a guy last week, Friday, I want to say, Thursday or Friday. No, it wasn't last week, Friday, because that was Good Friday, I took off, it was Thursday. And So there's some possibilities there as well, which is,
There's always grants for that playground stuff, you just gotta kind of dig,
Yeah.
just kind of know where to look.
yep.
Great.
Is there more down the line, or is that it gonna take care of this space, do you think?
My few plans would be remove the old tennis courts, get rid of those, and we can extend the baseball field to make an actual high school distance like we've talked about. I think a couple of years ago, we talked about doing that. And then what's actually a really popular thing nowadays are RC tracks. I think where the tennis courts are now, that'd be a really good location for something like that.
What is that?
Like an RC
RC
track.
cars?
RC cars.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
Put in a
research.
pond too, and then we could do RC boats and RC
that
There you
cars.
go.
Like a dirt track, you saying, or
Yeah.
gravel or something, that'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it's
We've had
amazing
some
how popular
interest.
it's
We've had a lot of
becoming.
Oh,
interest
yeah,
in
we've
it.
had calls about that.
And they do up at Plover
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yes.
They actually,
My neighbor runs it on the streets every day.
Compliments
Yeah.
they had one going at
You'd have a
Norton
place to
Pond,
go.
I said no. Because they wanted to lay one out there.
The other thing we talked about with pickleball, if that does go anywhere, would be the options of hosting, you know, kind of a citywide or a region-wide pickleball tournament. Because you have the East Pickleball Fields now, Winterfield Pickleball Fields, Winter Park. You can very easily do pickleball on any tennis courts at Lincoln High School, although they won't be permanently striped, of course, but you can still lay that out and use those. You've got the courts at Rams that could be used as pickleball courts if these go, you see what I'm saying? You could have a gigantic
Yeah.
Midwest or Wisconsin or whatever pickleball tournament and bring people and
Yep.
dollars to town by hosting something like that.
Terrific.
And it's hugely popular.
Yep.
So that's another piece that I'll point out as a possibility. I don't know if Legacy's into doing pickleball courts, but I think we'd probably end up going in that direction regardless. And that's the other piece that I'll circle back to, and I can't emphasize it enough. And clearly, we have a dog in the fight, so I'm you know, predisposed to being agreeable to this. But when I say highly flexible, fine. I mean, you know, you want to give us $100,000 to invest over at Mead, great. We'll figure that out. You know what I'm saying? You want to give us $1 million to invest over at Mead, we'll figure that out. You know what I mean? So we have almost unilateral control to do just about anything that they're agreeable to. So,
I would think that'd be kind of tough for them though, than to know, I mean, yeah, they can just give you a whatever dollar amount and you figure it out, but,
they're talking about a multi-year commitment potentially.
yeah, I
So-
mean, I just think it'd be hard for them to know how to, if they wanted to split it like that,
But keep in mind,
they
that
want
we
you
are,
to steer them, I think.
we are providing, yeah, that's true, but we are providing a budget. So what we're doing is providing, this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
This is what the Mead site is slightly different than our other sites. At the Mead site, it basically says, this is what we want to do from this district, this is what we want to do from the city.
Yeah.
Here's the total dollar amount, and there's dollar amounts assigned to that.
Yeah.
So they're gonna know, eyes wide open going in, what that's gonna cost if we wanna do everything. My point would be is that if they say, well, no, you know, no, I mean, we're not gonna give you $1 million for that, we'll give you 500,000. Fine, we'll figure that out, how much do we need to contribute? So none of those questions are answered currently, right? And then for the other ones, what we do is, why they're customizable, is they'll say, this is what we need, and these are wants. And so the total that I gave you is if we get all the wants and needs all incorporated together. So it's a little bit of a pipe dream, but the long and short of it is, throw it out there and
Don't
see
get it
where
if
they
you don't
wanna
ask.
go.
Yes, you don't get it if you don't ask.
That was the thought process, yeah, so.
But
But-
they've got some experience with you guys too, I mean, it's not like you went and,
No, it won't be willy-nilly. They're not gonna come back and say 100,000. They're gonna, but they might ask, well, what of these things that do you actually have to do? Okay, well, we can go back to the drawing board. The problem is that you can't do that when you're going in completely blind. If they said tailored proposal for $500,000 a year for the next 3 years, that'd be super easy. It would be done and submitted, but we took the blanket approach because they don't have parameters.
but you must have some safety issues with the playground equipment.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
You would think that they would.
Citywide.
Of course, they could just say, well, that's your problem, but.
yep. Yep. Yeah, we have that too, the historical perspective and how playgrounds in the district have been funded, because perhaps unironically, the vast majority of them have all been fundraised and installed via PTC, usually PTC contributions.
Right. They're pretty pricey.
Oh, yeah.
The insulations.
And then when you go with the accessible, it's
Yep.
crazy. It's
Yep.
at least twice, if not 2.5 times
Yeah.
Wow.
what it was back in the old days. Most most of our stuff is from like the sixties and seventies. There's still swings and monkey bars from the sixties on school property, which there's nothing wrong with it, but.
Well, thanks for taking us under your wing.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if it matters.
Does this?
Well, if it's no, we'll know what the problem
Yes.
was.
Outdoor plan for this park?
Kind of, how does this line
What
up
else-
with the outdoor part, or the
What else
outdoor
do we have in the
plan?
outdoor plan, that 5-year plan for
There was
the
pickleball
need?
courts.
There was pickleball courts, I believe.
There was explaining the
I'd have to
baseball.
look.
I heard there was a long waiting
Could I
line
meet
for
you
the
over there?
pickleball courts today.
Could I or us
Okay.
meet you over there sometime and
Yeah.
show where
Yep.
potentially go?
Yeah. No.
I can send you a copy of what we're submitting too,
Okay.
if you're interested.
Sounds good. Thanks for the info.
Any other questions then on the legacy grant application? So we'll probably hear about it again in June is what I would think, if we have a commission meeting.
Now, for this body, we should be thinking about this annually. I mean, if there's something to submit, right?
Yeah.
I would love to.
But you'd almost have to be doing that by the end of the year or somewhere in that time frame.
Yep.
At least
For budget.
whatever the
Yeah.
ideas are and
The follow-up question then always is, what is the contribution that we're able to accumulate? And the hard part right now is that there's no ability to answer that question until we know, you know. I mean, clearly, it's not $1 million. But if Legacy said, we'll give you 700,000 if you can come up with 300,000, I think we'd probably strongly consider it both for the district and for Park and Rec, or the city, you know what I mean? So that's another piece of that might change plans in terms of park outlay, or you know, for the district, other items that we had planned on doing. It comes down to I'm gonna call it the quadplex question. Are you really gonna walk away from $6.2 million because you don't wanna spend 500,000? And the answer to that question is no, you're not. That'd be foolish. So how are we gonna make it work? And I would argue that's probably what we're gonna be faced with. That probably, maybe, hopefully not 500 grand, I wouldn't think, but at some point in the future, would be what we're faced with, is what aspects can we contribute? We've already worked on some of that in terms of, you know, what we had planned on doing anyway, or what we could do with city resources or with district resources that would be part of the project, but not necessarily, you know,
well,
standalone.
sort of depends what you're competing against too.
Correct.
Right. Which nobody probably knows.
Yep. Yep.
But hey,
See what happens.
put your best foot forward.
All right, then we have the bills.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second by Mayor Blazer and Mr. Rayon to approve the bills. Any questions?
What was the,
Can I see that one? There was
what
one
was the
big one.
fantasy corral at the zoo?
Those are the animals.
That's the animal, the vendor.
Oh, okay.
Is
That's
that
where
all
I
of
got
them?
the animals from?
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
where we rent the zoo.
Is this
from.
part of changing the system over?
I'm guessing the
Those are
Zedox and kangaroos come in two
Yeah.
separate shipments.
$5,000 worth of inner tubes?
Three dogs, yeah.
Yeah, we went through a
The
lot.
Z-Dog, that's all.
They
You had,
were
you have to say
all-
Z-Dog.
Yeah,
They just-
Yeah.
I do.
He's
It's
cute.
Yeah, we
hilarious.
went through a lot.
Is he?
Yeah.
Eye contact only though with the kangaroos.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, that was 190 of them. 180.
How many do you have?
Right now, probably 70.
Oh, you bought a whole bunch more?
Yep.
Oh, I got
We
you.
were
What's that?
really low on tubes last
Yeah.
year.
$5,000 worth of inner tubes.
Last year, well, yeah, I don't know, for whatever reason, we just went through a lot last year.
Hmm.
We have to have an inflation seminar and some of these
Right.
cards. They're inflating them
You
too
can run
much.
that.
But yeah, it's,
Oh,
so this is the first.
and whatnot, you said?
Yeah, this will be the first year that we have new tubes since the beginning, so 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, just sitting in the sun, I can't
Yeah.
believe they last even 4 years, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
Yeah.
and where are they stored in the winter?
Yeah, where do you
Inside.
keep them?
Yeah, we deflate them and actually hang them up.
But is it still cold in there? Like, is it, yeah,
No, they didn't
that's
heat
gonna
it.
kill
Yeah.
anything made out of
Yeah.
plastic or
Yeah.
polymers.
Plastic, just,
Yeah, but the only place that we have heated in there is the place we rent out, so they didn't heat nothing in that aquatic center.
Doesn't make
We're not
sense.
the only ones in the world with those, so
Right.
somebody's gotta be doing something.
4
right?
years, I bet you is pretty typical.
Probably, I would imagine.
So,
I mean, they get
yeah,
beat
that's
up, I
expensive.
mean, kids drag them on the concrete.
Yeah.
and
How much
toss
are they
them.
per tube, out of curiosity?
It was like $78 or something.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, doubles and singles, I
that's
think they
about it.
varied in price,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, well, we have a motion and a second to approve the bills. Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Staff reports.
So I sent out the ice pond summary. Seems like a long time ago now that it's like 70 degrees outside. We were open pretty much the same number of days as 2022.
Surprising considering
It
that
is
weird
surprising.
winter, and
It
then
was weird.
talking to other
It
cities,
was.
they closed like weeks before we did.
Yeah.
Some cities didn't even open up an ice rink this year because of how warm it was, but.
Yeah, it was an odd season.
Ron made good ice this year, yes.
Yeah. We had a lot of days where we were closed during the week, so like the shorter amount of hours and it's not as busy, and then we tried to open pretty much like on a Friday night, so we'd be open for the weekends when we could, but yeah, it
I
was.
think it was a lot busier than we like
Seemed to
doubled
be.
or tripled our price and concessions from last year. So,
Maybe a little more, yep, great,
Yeah.
I'm working on setting up summer activities, both, the rec programs and then at the aquatic center. We just completed interviews for summer aquatics, zoo, and parks coordinator. We had great applicants, and now they're working on, reference checks and background in HR. And I'm starting to put together the training calendar to get that going. And the weekend of March 31st through April 2nd, I completed the lifeguarding instructor course. So now I will be able to certify the guards and have the water park certification class. Definitely we'll do the water park certification class this year, and then we'll see about when to do a guard class.
Did you learn dog rescue too from when we had dog day?
I should have. You're not allowed to jump in the water for that.
You can't save dogs? Oh.
I can tell you that the guards that were on that day
Would've.
would have anyways, I
Totally.
would have too.
Is there like a rule that you can't do that or what?
There's a very strange law about, you can't do a dog day at a splash pad because water might splash on the dog and then splash on you.
So.
Exactly.
Well, you can at the pool?
Because
Yeah.
people are not in the pool, or not supposed to be in the pool.
Yeah.
We tell them
It's
all
all
that.
about people being in there with the dogs.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, if you're gonna save them, I mean, jeepers.
Because we don't run like chlorine or nothing, so that people
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
after a year can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't wanna
But
mess up their
if
nice
you're in a
silky
lake,
coats.
then
No,
you
you
know.
don't wanna do that
Right.
either.
Exactly. Yeah, there's some strange rules about
Hmm.
dogs and
They
splash pads.
would, they would do it anyway, cause nobody knows about the rule.
And I know about the rule, maybe I shouldn't say that.
No, I'd totally save a dog.
I
I
know.
would too, jeez.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just watch, come on.
No,
Mm-mm.
exactly. You're supposed to have one of those shepherd's hook things, but you can't really find it anymore.
Oh, really?
What if it's a really small dog?
I don't
That'd
know.
be really
Annette.
hard.
I'll tie a rope on one of the new inner tubes.
Grab onto this.
There you go. You guys can all come and work on dog day. There we go. You can help out, or you can bring your dogs.
Yeah,
That's
I
our-
Get
certainly
the,
should, I
Wood County
should.
Rescue over in their dry suits.
There you go. Then they're just
They
gonna
would be in the water, that's true.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I know, it's very strange.
Hmm.
All right, thanks, Don. Jake, how about your staff report? You were done, weren't you?
I was done.
All right, thank you.
Pretty
Thanks.
much continued preventive maintenance on all the city-owned buildings. We did a big lighting project at the Centralia Center in the dining room area. That all the money was actually donated by the Wisconsin Rapids Area Senior Center Association. So kudos to them. That was great that they did that because well, it's either they weren't going to pay for it or we were going to pay for it. So I'm glad they paid for it. Bunch of snow removal, city parking lots, sidewalks. We did continue the tree trimming removal list, tree pruning. We spent about 2 weeks out on Oak Street removing trees for the construction site this year. Removal of low board hockey, clean up at the aquatic center, ice rink. Then we got all of our product and equipment ready for our ash tree injections coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So that'll be a new adventure for us to do on ourselves. So.
Tree injections?
Yep, for the ash. We usually normally we hired it out. This year we're gonna just do it ourselves to save a lot of money. Do it ourselves.
Is that gonna be done annually?
So every ash that is 14 inches or smaller, we are doing like a ground soak. 14 or bigger, we have to do injections. So the tree injections are every 2 years. The ground drenching is every year.
Oh.
So.
And then there's some kind of chemical you put in, whatever?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. So yeah, we're just following our tree, I think we had a tree survey person come in like 5 years ago, so we're just picking up the pieces on trying to find the right way to do this, and the most ethical and financial way to do it, so. That's really about all we've been doing the last couple months.
Okay, any other questions for Jake or Don?
My question kind of goes back to the zoo, but we still have some money in that fund
Yes, we
for
do.
some projects. Do we want to get together again and look for other ideas?
You know, hopefully we're gonna have around 250,000 left to spend.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a good chunk of money to
Okay.
spend with,
Okay.
before 2025.
Yeah, well, the end of 2025, so it's
Yeah.
January 26th,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Did you ever find
We
out
had some good ideas.
what
Yeah.
happens
from
to that?
zoo we
I
can
think so
tell.
too, so maybe after this
So
is done.
Sue says it wouldn't revert back to the family because of how it is, so. But I don't know at the end of 2025 where it would go, because it's not specified in the paperwork, and,
You won't know where to send it.
right, and
We're gonna
there's,
spend
the
it.
family
We're gonna
disposed
make
of
some
it
really cool
in the
exhibits.
estate, so,
We don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
not quite sure.
I would guess we get to use, but
Spending is not the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
we just want to go about it the right way, yes.
Correct.
Correct.
Well, if we start planning it now, there
Yeah,
should
we
be
got
no
2
problem
years,
doing
so-
that.
Right.
250
So
grand.
soon.
I think
Yeah.
so.
I mean, we can even start thinking of some ideas and maybe bring them to the next meeting.
Yep.
And start working on
I
some
know we've
quotes and
thought
things.
of some stuff to
Yeah.
like,
Or even the language, remember we couldn't put playground equipment?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Has to be
Mhm.
zoo.
zoo exhibits.
Has to be an
So-
exhibit.
You could burn it up,
You know,
or a chunk of it anyway,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
could use it for that.
you know,
I'll bring some ideas to the next
A
meeting
koi
and get with
pond.
you guys and
sounds good.
we'll just
Koi
keep working
pond.
on that.
Yeah.
So get it done sooner than later.
Yep.
You can put in a koi pond over there.
We have a little.
We
pond.
have one, yeah.
Yeah, but there's no koi, no fish in there.
Well, the
Oh,
ducks
yeah.
might eat 'em. Is there some fish in there?
There's quite fish in there.
In
Oh, yeah.
the fountain one,
In the
right?
big fountain ones, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, otherwise the ducks would eat it.
I would think so, yeah.
Mm.
Something else we'll probably have to talk about maybe the next meeting, we can put on the agenda, the name of the dog park.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so.
I think we should ask the community what the name is.
Oh,
Well, I
boy.
thought we would do the same
Yeah,
thing like we did at
probably.
Yeah.
the
I'm not
Aquatic
kidding.
Center.
Yeah.
Nope, I agree.
And I
Like we
think
did
this
like the
time we go
aquatics.
with the most creative name wins.
But we ended up picking it anyway the last time.
Yeah, but it was only
The
like
top-
what,
top
with
whatever.
options.
Top, yeah.
Top 3 or whatever?
Yeah,
Top 2
I
or
think we
3.
did a vote online or something.
I mean, this area isn't commemorated to anybody. It was
Right.
just vacant city land, basically.
Right.
Right.
So to me, game on. You know? I think you
I
get
think you get a lot of creative
some
names.
pretty clever stuff,
Yeah.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
so we'll get working on that,
Okay.
so. But I think we should do it on online poll like we did for the.
Yeah, that would be
Appropriate
pretty good.
names
Yeah.
only, though.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, we censored
Pre-screened.
it, came up with the top 5 or 3 or whatever it
think
was
so,
and then
yeah.
made a decision.
Yeah, we had to pre-screen
Yeah,
some
we
of
did
them.
have to pre-screen some of those
Yeah.
last.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Okay, any other items for discussion?
Creativity.
They were creative, I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Great, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We are adjourned.